Hello, everyone. This is Kathleen, and I'm here this morning to show you how to make the cereal box cover. Um, so I have, this whole stack of cereal box journals, that I'm making for the festival in June. And one of you, maybe even a couple of you, commented about how you wanted to see me make that cover and how to do the spine, the little rounded spine on it, and that you missed the paint part. And anyway, so I'm going to do a little series, I think, of how to make a cereal box cover. Simple, because I'm making 8 of these other ones, but I want to make a couple maybe smaller ones. I don't know. I just, they're just so easy, and it makes a really nice true junk journal cover. And there's so many things you can do to decorate the front and easily decorate the front. And so today I'm going to show you from start to finish how to make an easy cereal box cover for a junk journal. Okay, so here is a cereal box. There are 2 sides, front and back, and I've trimmed all of the other parts off, and so this is, let me tell you what the measurement for this. Now cereal boxes are different sizes, so you can't judge, but the nice thing about cereal box is that it's a very lightweight chipboard. And some are more heavyweight than others. I like the heavyweight ones, but the lightweight ones have a place too. And so, for just really simple, um, and just kind of junky kinds of notebooks, this is a great cover. More heavier than cardstock, but lighter in weight than something that's not going to bend easily. So yeah, so the size for post shredded wheat is, it's just under 11 and a half. So that means when I fold an 8.5 by 11 paper, which is the most common size of just household papers, that we end up recycling, then that's going to fold at 5.5. 5.5 and 5.5 is 11, and that's just going to give me, if it's 11 and a quarter or so, that's going to give me just about 1/8 of an inch wider than the book page, the signature pages. So that's good. If the cereal box is smaller, of course, you're going to have to trim that, and I have it trimmed down to 7.5. So 7.5 by 11 and a quarter, or 11 and 4/8 or 3/8. Okay, so that's what you do. You trim it down, and then I like to round the corners. You don't have to round the corners, but you can see that when you have it like this, that looks very two-dimensional, and it looks like it's been cut. It looks like, I can't explain it. It just, when you round the corners, and I'm just using the kind of medium size, when you round the corners, that just gives kind of a finished, it just looks like more deliberate to me. I've mentioned that before, but you don't have to round the corners, but I like to. So that's what I'm going to do. Oops, that one didn't do. There we go. Okay, now cereal boxes often get bent, so you just have to live with that and not worry about it. You can see along this side, that's a bend in the cardboard, and it's just what happens. I try to train my husband to be careful with the cereal boxes as he's opening and closing them so that things don't get ripped and bent, but sometimes they come that way from the store. So okay, so this one has been sanded. This was the back. You can kind of see faintly that there was printing underneath there, but I've taken most of the color off, and it now is white. The back was mostly white, and this front is mostly yellow. So let me just show you what I do to sand that. You guys know how to sand, but I'll take you through it. So I just have this sandpaper. It is, I'm not sure that I have a number on it. Maybe 123, I don't know. But it's just a medium sandpaper that, you know, you just get anywhere, Walmart, hardware store, wherever. Okay, this is going to sound, you know, it's going to be loud, but I just start rubbing, just start taking the color down. And of course I have protected my glass mat because sandpaper will scratch it immediately. So yeah, I want to be careful with that. So I go in one direction for the first while until I get, you know, most of the ink coming off. Okay, now you can decide how much you want, how little color you want. I can continue to sand. Okay, I'm going to stop and get a baby wipe because that's going to be my, what painters call a tack cloth. Because that's going to help pick up all of this dust, and I'm just going to wipe that now. You can see that dampness picks up the dust, and I'm going to shake paper and clean up a little bit the dust on the glass, just because I hate dust. I live in the worst place if I hate dust, but yeah, I do. I don't mind it so much on my furniture, but I hate it when it gets on my hands and in between my toes, that kind of thing. Ugh, hate it. Okay, so like I was saying, you need to decide now how much more you want to take this down. You can take it pretty much all the way down, but then you're going to lose some thickness in your cardboard, and it kind of depends on whether or not you want people to know, you know, this is a junk journal. This was made from, you know, junk, recycled. So I do not want, however, the red, because that's going to interfere. So I am now going to go the other direction and take just a tiny bit more off. Okay, so I'm losing some of the yellow color, which I kind of wanted to save, but I don't want some of this stuff. Like I don't want the barcodes and things like that. Okay, now take the baby wipe again, and okay, so that cover, I feel good about that now. So let me move this paper out of the way and wipe the mat again, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, bring this one back. So now we have two covers, and now the next thing I need is my scoreboard. And let's see if these are the same. Yes, looks like, nope, that one's slightly bigger. I am going to trim this one down to exactly 11 1/4 because I want to be able to score it exactly in the middle. So that's what we're going to do. because when this is folded in half, I want it to be I want the signatures to be 5.5 inches wide. I'm already going to have to trim it down on the top, but if I don't have to trim the sides, then that's good too. So 5.5 is 11, and then 11 1/4 is gives me 1/8 of an inch wider. So I'm going to go 5.5 and then 1/8 of an inch, and I'm going to score that. I think I'm going to score it from the other side though. So 5.5 and then 1/8. Okay, so that's the first score. I'm going to do the same thing on this one. So that's the first score. Now, depending on how much of a rounded spine I want, then that, you know, you would measure how wide you want your spine. These are going to be very thin, and so I'm only going to go, let's see, if I go 1/4 inch on either side, that's going to give me a 1/2 inch spine, which is a lot. That's a lot. So I think I'm going to try just 1/8 of an inch on both sides, which gives me 3/8 of an inch spine, or a quarter. That would be a 1/4 inch spine. Yeah, and I can't go to 3/8 inch spine because then that would be, you have to do it equal on both sides, right? So I think for one signature rounded, I might need to decorate it a little, so I'm going to go up to 1/2 inch. Okay, so we'll put one more on each side of that center, which gives me, you can see, a 1/2 inch spine. Okay, and then this is the way I do it. I put them together like this. I don't bend it all of the way. I just kind of squeeze it a little, and then just kind of fold it a little so that it begins to round. But I will just, when I get the signature sewn in, I will let that signature, and as I decorate it, I will let that, you know, it will form around the signature, which is what I want. Okay. All right, so now let's do that again on this one. So we'll go 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, and 1/4 of an inch. Okay, and then come out, put those together, and just kind of squeeze it just a little bit. All right. Okay, so that's all there is to that. All right, and now the inside, you might want to just leave the inside. You know, there's nothing wrong with just craft color on the inside, or you can do what we did with the other ones, and I'll link the other video. But remember, we did just the dictionary paper on the inside, and there's that video that demonstrates how to do that, so I won't do that again. But let's just turn these over now. Now what we need is something for the outside. Okay, so now I'm looking at this, and here's a bend, and I don't know, do I want that on the front or on the back? Do I want to cover that up or leave it as part? I think I'll leave it on the front as part of the design. And I want a little bit of brown on the, yeah, I think I'll have this be, no, because of that bend, I think I will put that on the back. So these two are my front. Okay, so now at this point, I could do some mixed media, I could do some painting, I could do some texture paste and then paint. I could do a lot of things, just keeping in mind that this is not the stiffest chipboard there is. So I need to be a little careful about the weight that I put on the front. But today I think I'm just going to do, I could do collage because, you know, that's what I like to do. But I think that I'll make a couple of panels. They're still collaged because that's kind of just the way my mind works. But you could do, let's see, I thought I had you could do a masterboard and chop it up. That would be good. You could do just something. One of the things you can do is just follow one of the tag templates and just make it a little bigger and put that on the front. Just a design. I think that's what I'll, you know, like this. Not with the ribbon, obviously, or maybe if you want, but this is the torn wallpaper. Count to 3, or 3 layers, I guess. That's the tag template. This one is, can't remember what the name of this one was, but anyway, you'll see it on the playlist. So you could do that. I think what I'm just going to demonstrate is, let's just create a panel, okay? So I have my little tray of stuff. I have a little pile of like larger scraps. And so we could just make a masterboard. I think I did cut out like this. This was in a book page, gardening. And by the way, you know, this is a lavender festival, so gardening is on everyone's mind. So I cut out this pretty picture of a rose, and then I just have some, I have some other scraps like here. I have the piece of burlap, so we could do burlap. Let's see, what do I want to do? I think I do want it to be kind of rustic, kind of, you know, like outside wheelbarrow garden, that kind of thing. Well, or here, let's just, what have I got in this tray? Here's a specimen. Here's some pretty little pieces. Here's another piece of a rose. There's another rose. Here's a label. There's, oh, that's kind of pretty, kind of rustic looking. Here's a label, some stamps. That's nice. This is kind of pretty. That would look good with that somehow. All right, let's do this. This is rustic, and let's just start seeing if we can make an arrangement here. I like this one. Let me trim this down. So trim the edges piece off of that. This one has a little more white in it, which kind of matches the, I'm not doing any painting on the back, you know, so. I don't know. You're just going to have to watch me think about this. This is a bigger piece. Kind of like that. Ooh, that matches really well. Here, let's... All right, I think I'm going to use this green. I'm going to round these two corners, because now that my corners are rounded, I kind of have to keep that going. So I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to tear this side. Yeah, I like that white. Okay, so one thing I need to keep in mind is where the edge of this is. So if that were to go there, and let's see, I think I have a little die cut. Ooh, I like that. I do like that. All right, I can't talk and think at the same time. I think I like this. And what else? Okay, so about this time I start thinking of my composition, what I want to do with composition. I really need to do a video about composition. I will try to do that soon. But this is when I start thinking about things like the rule of three, the rule of odds, you know, the where to place things. 3 is a magical number. It's kind of a cool number. Anything when you count to 3, so 1, 2, 3, that's good. If I were to use the rule of 3, I would have to leave this without a closure, because if I put a closure on it, then it becomes 4. And depending on how the closure is, if it's the button and beads, then it becomes 5. So if I did 3 here, the button and the beads, that would be 5, and that's an odd number, so it fits into the rule of odds. If I add more, ooh, that's kind of pretty, but then that becomes 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I would need something more. Well, I think I'm going to go with this 3 anyway, so let me glue that down. And at this point, I can use some different kinds of glue. I don't know if I'm going to put a whole matte medium collage decoupage thing over the whole top. I probably ought to make that decision now, though, because if you remember from a previous project, if I start mixing glues, so if I use Fabri-Tac to glue this down, and then I use matte medium later or Mod Podge, then it's going to bubble. And I know that because I have this delicate die cut, that's going to need matte medium. So just put this away and get out the paintbrush. Where's my matte medium? Here it is. Because if I'm going to do it later, I'd better do it from the beginning. Okay, so we're going to put this on with matte medium, which is really, it's probably a good thing because then later I can put a whole, excuse me, I can put a coat on the top of it. Okay, now I'm going to try to put this on so that that's straight. Get up on my tiptoes. Okay. All right, and get a card out. I still have not found one of those paddle brushes that I'm interested in. I've looked in all the Dollar Trees, all the dollar stores, and haven't found it. So I'm going to have to order it online, I guess. Okay, so there's that layer on. And this is going to go on. That's going to go on there, pretty sure. But I want to put a little distress on it, on the edges. This is one of Stacy Belt's, one of her labels from the labels kit. And I just want to cover up whatever white might be showing. And I could add some interest if I crumple it a little. So I think I will do that and just put a little bit of interest behind that die cut. That kind of is, will add some texture. So, and when I smooth it out, it's going to smooth out, but the ink, you know, will stay. So I had better get to town and get some more matte medium pretty soon because I'm getting low. All right, put that down. Oh gosh, we're already coming up on time. So I'm only going to get one done today. I'm going to have to make another video for the other one. That's okay, because then you can have two ideas for. All right, now I need to decide if that goes there and this goes there. And we have a button closure. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I wouldn't do the dangles. I would just do the button and maybe a hair tie. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Okay. All right. And put these down. So if I put these on top, then hierarchically that becomes the focal point, and I want this to be the focal point. So I am going to slide that behind. Nope, I want it over the edge over here. I'm going to line it up with that text. All right. I think that's all down. There's a little air bubble coming in there. Whoops, dang it. Oh my gosh. Well, that's, you know, that is sometimes what happens. Shoot. It's not completely off. There we go. You got to be careful with those cards, honestly. I can see an air bubble right under there. I think that's what I'm trying to get. You know, sometimes when you put the next layer on, see, it changes. It changes the weight, the distribution, and it can cause things to rise. All right, there we go. I think I fixed it. All is well. All right, so I think let me wrap up this paintbrush to keep that from drying out. And there is the cover for this one. And you just have to remember that there will be a button over here, also part of the design, which is going to, I don't know if it'll be a gold button, probably not gold, but that's going to create a triangle in those elements, which is also magical. The magical triad. Yeah, I think I want a darker button though. Maybe a gray one. Yeah, I think that little gray one will be better. Anyway, so okay, that finishes it. So I will let this dry, put a button on it, and show it to you when I come back to do another panel. Maybe we'll do a masterboard for this one. All right, thanks for joining me. That one was a little bit long, but I hope it was helpful, and we'll see you again.